Today on the Morning Edition, huge overnight step to end a partial government shutdown. We'll have the details on what the Senate agreed to after President Trump's announcement to start paying the TSA. Plus, preparations are nearly complete for the Anchorage Empty Bowl event to fill empty bellies with empty bowls. We'll show you how those preparations are going.
Wouldn't be surprising.
And later, a principal who had only taken 5 sick days in 14 years on the job suddenly had to take a lot more. But the community and the school has rallied around him in an inspiring show of support. We'll show you how the school is pulling together to support their principal in his time of need. As the Morning Edition starts now. Good Friday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today on the 62nd anniversary of the Great Alaska Earthquake.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Thanks for letting me know.
That is today. It's been 62 years.
Yeah, and it's always a good reminder anytime that we are heading through this quiet stretch of weather, not much going on. Just keep in mind those things that you have to encounter when we're dealing with earthquakes, tsunamis. I do believe last week was tsunami week. So just some things to keep in mind when we do have some of those quieter conditions is just to make sure that you do have some of those plans or preparations in place should we encounter any of those scenarios. Waking up this morning, 10 degrees in both Anchorage as well as Palmer, 12 below in Fairbanks, and 14 degrees in Juneau. We're continuing to hold on to this quiet stretch of weather that's been with us for quite some time. The only exception is parts of the Panhandle, which continue to see some light snow showers, and that's more so through southern parts of southeast. We're waking up this morning. Those 3 areas that have been holding on to those sub-zero temperatures the last few days, we're still seeing that. We're also adding into the mix Kenai this morning. So Kenai, Soldotna, Willow, and Golcana seeing those temperatures sitting below zero. Talkeetna hovering right at 0, while the rest of South Central is seeing those temperatures in the single digits, teens, and 20s. So we've been holding on to this slow warming trend. Now, the nights continue to be on the cold side, and that's largely due to those clear skies and the lack of winds that we do have across South Central. That's the perfect recipe for any heat that we do see each afternoon to escape back into the atmosphere into the night. That's why we've got those colder mornings still with us. But temperatures today will top out in the 20s, even some lower 30s looking possible across South Central as we head throughout the afternoon hours. And we're going to continue to track what March is shaping up to be in terms of that temperature. We were showing you this yesterday. We're still in 3rd place for 2026. This is the coldest March that we've seen since about 1971. But notice yesterday, 2007 was in 5th place. That's bumped up to 4th place as well. So we're kind of right on par with what 2007 did see in terms of those temperatures. And while we are going to continue to hold on to that slow warming, we're going to be watching those temperatures this weekend as we could potentially hit or climb above freezing in some areas across South Central as we welcome in your weekend. As that warmth and sunshine remains with us, of course, we've still got some snow showers for the southern panhandle. I'll have all of those details for you in that 7-day for you coming up.
Breaking overnight, a marathon day of negotiations. The Senate finally voted to fund the Department of Homeland Security, except for ICE immigration enforcement and deportations and portions of Border Patrol. That after President Trump announced he would sign an order to get TSA workers paid to relieve the crisis at the nation's airports. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Recognize the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
In a dramatic middle-of-the-night move, the Senate voting to fund the Department of Homeland Security, except for immigration enforcement under ICE. It passed unanimously after weeks of haggling, despite containing none of the ICE reforms Democrats had been holding out for. The two parties still pointing fingers.
The Democrats just kept moving the goalposts. And today, they just walked away.
This could have been accomplished weeks ago if Republicans hadn't stood in the way.
The vote follows an announcement from President Trump that he would sign an order to immediately pay TSA workers after weeks without a paycheck during the partial government shutdown led to serious staffing shortages and the longest airport wait times on record.
We missed our flight. We had a 6-hour layover, and unfortunately we were unable to make our connection because of delays.
Just feels like America, man. Like, you don't experience this in a lot of other countries, and I just feel like it's unacceptable.
The House still has to act before TSA and other agencies like the Coast Guard and FEMA can get fully back up and running. And House Republican leadership has previously objected to breaking ICE out of DHS funding. Congress is under pressure to seal the deal before boarding planes for a 2-week recess today in airports battered by the back and forth. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
As many of us in Alaska know or may remember, today marks the 62nd anniversary of the Great Alaska Earthquake back in 1964. The earthquake measured a 9.2, marking the most powerful quake to be recorded in North America, and resulted in about 131 deaths in Alaska, Oregon, and California, of which 90% were due to tsunamis, according to the Alaska Earthquake Center. Damage was also widespread. Tsunamis also caused damage in Hawaii, Japan, Oregon, California, and Washington and Canada. Motion related directly to the earthquake was recorded as far away as Texas and Florida as well. An Anchorage family business is bouncing back after a burglary in Midtown over the weekend. Joe Allgood spoke with one of the managers of the popular eatery and tells us how they're responding.
If you like Hawaiian food and you live in Anchorage, you've probably had hula hands, which is why so many people reached out and sent their aloha after their Midtown location was broken into on Sunday morning. Around 2 a.m., a cinder block went through the back window of the Hula Hands location on Fireweed. 2 burglars came in, took the cash register drawer, along with some iPads and cash from inside a locked office. Outside the getaway vehicle, a stolen van waited.
And they were quick.
Manager Roman Sapp arrived later that morning, at first not realizing the damage.
Yeah, I walked in and that's when I found out. I was like, it's cold in here.
Oh, there's a window broken.
There's a window broken in the back.
Was the cinder block still there? Was it,
I still got the cinder block.
After calling the police, Sapp said the restaurant was able to open later that day, even without the missing items. And once word got around,
the impact on the business, we've actually had a great outpour. I'm not on Facebook, but I've heard, and I've had friends call me that they haven't talked to me in months or years, asking me about it. So it's actually, it's very overwhelming about the people that actually notice and care about a small business like this.
An outpouring of support from a community that just lost its founding uncle 4 months ago.
There's not many Polynesians you can go around here in Anchorage and ask if they know Uncle Bill or don't know Uncle Bill. And everybody does.
Uncle Bill started Hula Hands.
He always put everybody else first before him. No kids, never been married. Everybody, all his workers were his kids. Great man.
And now his business is in good hands.
We do a lot, but we're a small family business, and we're not gonna let this stop us. We're going on 30 years, and we're gonna continue to go on 30 more years.
Hula Hands continues to be open during their regular hours, and they say mahalo to all the community that has supported them in this hard time. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Anchorage police say they're investigating a suspicious death in East Anchorage after discovering a woman's body Wednesday morning. According to APD, the woman was found inside a home near Muldoon Road in the 8100 block of Northview Drive. Police have declined to provide more information, but say 2 people have been taken in for questioning. The woman's age and identity have not yet been released. A massive Air Force tanker blew a big hole in the tarmac at Fairbanks International Airport last summer, and now a new report details how it all happened. First, take a look at this photo from the United States Air Force. You can see the scale of the damage. Chunks of asphalt littered across the ramp, torn up by an engine test on an Air Force refueling tanker. The report says a New Hampshire Air National Guard KC-46A was stranded in Fairbanks last summer with engine vibration problems. A special maintenance team ran a series of high-power engine tests on the ramp for about 8 hours on and off. Investigators say all of that heat and exhaust melted the asphalt sealant, and during the 10th test, a 25-foot section of pavement popped loose and just blew apart. The report also found that the tarmac was not prepared for an engine test. The jet wasn't damaged, but it left the airport with nearly $150,000 in damage. Beans Cafe is wrapping up its final preparation work, ready to welcome hundreds of people to downtown Anchorage for this year's Empty Bowl project. Georgina Fernandez shows us how creativity and fun flavors are helping locals in need.
Check out these bowls. Some are very exquisite, some are very simple. Handcrafted with hope. It's more symbolic. These here are just a preview of some of the roughly 1,000 bowls you can see this weekend during Beans Cafe's George Hieronymus Empty Bowl project.
The Empty Bowl is a very simple symbol of people facing
food insecurity each day.
On Saturday, Beans Cafe is hosting its annual fundraiser event where guests have the opportunity to take home a bowl and also eat unlimited 6 different types of soup from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Denina Center.
And this year we do have DJ Spencer Lee. We have lots of fun things for young kids. We have inflatables, bouncy houses.
The annual event, stemming back to 1994, is Beans Cafe's only fundraiser of the year, where it focuses on raising funds and awareness about food insecurity in the state.
I think the Empty Bowl project is just amazing, an amazing community gathering. It has a shared purpose to raise awareness and funds for people who don't always know where their next meal is coming from.
And this year, the need for support is even higher.
Our bowls might be full, but so many people, their bowls are empty.
Beans Cafe says that in a normal month, the nonprofit would pass out around 30,000 meals. Now they're up to 40,000.
I feel like there is a larger need this year, starting way back in the fall with Typhoon Halong, and also just some programs not funding to the level that they did in the past.
And they're hoping with funds generated this weekend, they'll be able to provide an additional 5,000 meals in the upcoming months, with the goal that these bowls will help fill a void that remains. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Ticket prices vary for the event. If you want to go home with a bowl, it is $45. General adult admission is $25, and children 10 years and under are free. Tickets can be purchased at the door or online. You can find those details on our website. When the Morning Edition returns, the gas line's future in Alaska is still anything but set in stone, with lawmakers now debating property taxes and possible exemptions. We'll share those details just ahead.
Ongoing dry weather stays with us. Plenty of sunshine and that slow warming. I'll have more on what to expect as the weekend arrives. But first at sunrise, coming in at 7:40 in Anchorage, 6:41 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in on this Friday morning. Looking ahead to the weekend, Aaron, are we going to enjoy more of the sunshine?
More sunshine, more warmth as those temperatures continue to steadily climb, not only for South Central, but the state as a whole. We are going to be chasing freezing for South Central, possibly by Sunday. If not Sunday, we will see it as we welcome in early next week. That extended stretch of sunshine we've been up under stays with us into the weekend. And of course, we're still watching some snow showers for southern parts of southeast. Those temperatures this morning, 10 below in McGrath, 12 below in Fairbanks, 19 in Utqiagvik, 20 degrees in Nome. So we're already beginning to tap into some of those warmer conditions out west. You can see through the Aleutians as well as the Bering and the Pribilofs, those temperatures sitting in the 20s and the 30s this morning. Now, a lot of this warmer weather we're seeing for areas out west comes ahead of our next storm system that's already beginning to displace this area of high pressure. And as it does that, that ridge of high pressure will kind of shift more to the south. And that's going to open the door for this low that's currently out towards western parts of the Aleutians to steadily build off towards the northeast. It's going to be very slow moving as we close out this week and welcome in the weekend. But in doing so, it will drive warmth, it will drive cloud coverage, and yes, some rain and snow back into the Pribilofs, the Bering Sea, and areas of western Alaska, and along parts of the northwest Arctic Borough and the slope. We'll see some increasing snow showers today on through at least the weekend. Now, nothing significant in terms of that snow accumulation, but we will see about 1 to 3 inches with some locally heavier amounts as you head across western parts of the state. Notice southwest Alaska will largely stay dry until we welcome in our Sunday. And that comes as that area of low pressure begins to take an approach more as it continues to build towards the northeast and makes an approach more towards the western coast. So we are going to see increasing snow showers for western parts of the state. Meanwhile, across South Central, 26 degrees today. It's going to be a beautiful one. We are going to see those chilly conditions, though, to start off the morning, and we've got ample sunshine to get outside and enjoy these pleasant conditions as those temperatures continue to steadily warm. You can see today, we are going to see those temperatures steadily warming, 20s and 30s. Many areas have seen those winds dying down. In fact, Palmer saw those winds beginning to die down late yesterday evening, and this morning you are waking up to much calmer conditions. But 20s and 30s to be expected. And then that 7-day forecast showing that as we welcome in the weekend, you can see 28 degrees Saturday. We are right at freezing as we welcome in Sunday. And then next week, that is where we're going to be watching those temperatures that look to be on the warmer side as we make a run into the mid to upper 30s. There's also that chance as we welcome in next week that we'll see a good portion of South Central where we'll see those overnight lows potentially staying in the 20s. So that is that warming trend that we are going to see building back in across the state. Now, keep in mind, as we close out March, our average high for the very last day of March is 38 degrees. So you can see we're still below average, about 10 to 12 degrees below average today and tomorrow. And then we begin to bump up near those seasonal values as we close out March and welcome in April. The question now becomes, Kristen, when are we going to hit our first 40-degree day? Well, just looking ahead into the overall outlook when it comes to those weather models, it does look potentially that we could hit it towards the second week of April.
All right, we're slowly getting there. Thanks, Aaron. The governor unveiled his property tax bill for the LNG pipeline. Now lawmakers will start vetting the bill in hearings this week. And with the pipeline's a major developer in Juneau this week, as our political reporter Will Courtney tells us, the bill begins the push for passage with a ticking clock.
The developers for the proposed natural gas line Glenfarne are here in Juneau for the week, pitching the governor's property tax bill. Now, the administration says lawmakers have two options: pass the bill and give exemptions, or the gas line will die.
When we look at Glenfarne being a co-owner and developer and operator of this project for the long term, we envision that with the state of Alaska being our long-term partners.
That proposed partnership could give the developer property tax exemptions for upwards of a decade.
The bill would result in lower state revenue regardless of property tax relief. However, the developer and the Alaska Gas Line Development Corporation have stated that the project will not go forward without property tax relief.
What continues to be at issue? Information. Lawmakers across party lines say they need to know more about the project's finances before they pass bills. Glenfarne, the major pipeline developer, says that information is confidential and threatens competition. But some lawmakers say that leaves them in the dark on a project they and the administration do not know the cost of.
We're being asked to make decisions on a number that is not real. And that does not include the potential for cost overruns. We don't have enough information, not only to not compare it to the Canada project, but to any project, because we don't have that information.
While we are indeed using the previous iterations that had been updated, I can tell you that they are within reason and not within the error bands that you're discussing.
And with the ticking clock,
anything can happen with a will in the House and Senate.
We are more than halfway through our session, but things can happen very quickly.
The future of a decades-long promised pipeline still remains uncertain. Will Courtney, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.